Avengers Kang Dynasty has changed its title to Avengers Doomsday, and they have confirmed that Robert Downey Jr. is set to return not as Iron Man, as Doctor Doom. I mean, we got to talk about this. We got to give our quick thoughts. But, I mean, what do you think about this? Because this was insane, especially when it dropped. My brother told me from like
when this dropped,
a couple feet behind me.
I couldn't even believe it.
I was like, what?
I thought I was in _Age, like dead ass. I had like goosebumps and like I was kind of like distraught. I was like, what? Like, not just that he's playing Victor Von Doom, but just that he's back. Like it was like, so it was just one of those surreal moments where it's like, you like, at least to me, there's people that have issues with him playing Victor Von Doom, but it's just like RDJ's back, and it's like, it feels surreal, like it really does. Because, I mean, it's only been like 5 years since Endgame, and it's like I don't think anybody expected RDJ back this soon. Granted, not as Iron Man, not as the same character, but back nonetheless. And it was just like this feeling that was just like, I can't believe it, and I couldn't do nothing but just smile. Because listen, man, I love me some RDJ. So I couldn't do nothing but just smile. But man, when this news dropped, it was insane. And then seeing like the reaction at Hall H and stuff, I was like, man, this is like 2016 with the Russos back. And it's 2016, man. It feels like it's 2016. But yeah, I mean, this just an insane announcement to make. I think Matt Shakman said he knew about it. I think.
No, he said he had nothing to do with the casting. I don't know if he knew about it, but
no, I think I saw something that said Matt Shakman knew about it, but he had to like keep it on the low. I think I saw something like that.
I think he did.
Which is also crazy, and which also makes me think that Doctor Doom is probably going to be in Fantastic Four. I don't know if it's going to be like a big role or just kind of like puppeteering, setting stuff up in the third act. I don't know. But he's probably going to be in the Fantastic Four. There's reports saying that it's going to be RDJ's, right? His Victor Von Doom. And yeah, again, probably. But yeah, I mean, the reaction from Twitter was, at first, it was like, holy shit. Like, at first, everybody was like, whoa, like how?
And then people started thinking.
And then it processed. For like, literally like 2 minutes. Literally like 2 minutes. Everybody was like, wait, what? He's playing Victor Von Doom? Yeah, you got people that are like complaining that like, oh, he's not Romani. Why can't we get like a real Doctor Doom? Why does it have to be RDJ? This seems like a desperate decision to bring the Russos back in RDJ at Comic-Con, this and that. But I mean, say what you want to say, man. The Russos, they know how to make these Avengers movies. It would be different if it was like the Russos are making a Doctor Doom movie, and that's not what they're doing. No, they're back to make 2 Avengers movies. That's it.
Back to back.
We back for 2 Avengers movies, back to back. And I can't do nothing but like be excited for it, because the Russos, they know what they're doing when it comes to these Avengers movies. Outside of it, not really. But when it comes to these MCU movies, these Avengers movies, they know exactly what they're doing. And me personally, I could not see RDJ signing on to come back and do this if it wasn't something tasty. If it wasn't something that he could just do something with. And that's all that gets me, gets me going, gets me excited about it, is that, like, there is an opportunity here for RDJ to do something different, right? He's returning back to the MCU, but it's not Iron Man. He's not Iron Man. And in fact, it's a character that's almost the antithesis of Iron Man. Still has like Tony Stark kind of qualities, in the fact that he's very intellectual and obsessed with his like the idea of intellect, but like it's just a very different character. And I could see RDJ signing on and being like, invested in the opportunity to do a character like this and really chew on like some interesting, enticing stuff. So I just can't wait. And I will say, if you haven't already, go to Rob's channel, Comics Explained, and watch his video on I think it's titled like Iron Man Doctor Doom, or
Explain. All right.
Iron Man Becomes Doctor Doom or something. Listen, I haven't watched Comics Explained in a hot minute, but I watched that video and and with an open mind, let's just say I can't wait. You know, I
For
cannot
real?
wait because I truly do feel like it's the route that they're going with. I really do.
You should watch a couple of videos on Superman then too. That's all I'm gonna say.
Eh.
As for what I think, I'm on a completely different side until I'm proven wrong. I think this is just like what, like I can't believe we've got
Desperate times, desperate measures.
low. I just think, you know, it's one thing to bring the Russos back, right? Makes sense. They have not missed in the MCU.
No,
and especially with their Avengers movies. And if you brought them back, cool. Makes sense. I literally said that when it was a rumor. I was like, makes sense. Makes sense that they brought them back.
And I'm pretty sure they wanted to do Secret Wars like back when they were doing like back when they were like done with Endgame and stuff like that.
Then you bring back 𝙎𝙇𝙇, and like I saw the picture of like 𝙎𝙇𝙇 in the middle of them two, and it just, the picture was like, oh man, like they really
like 2016. It's like we just went into
no.
That
is not what I am saying. I am saying you see that picture and you see the desperation. You literally see the two directors come back with Robert Downey Jr. in the middle, and it's just like it rubs me the wrong way because I know exactly what they're doing. Could you tell some interesting stories with this? Absolutely. 100%. But let's be honest here.
I feel like there's only one in my opinion.
Kang didn't work out, right? They put him in Loki.
Man, that's unfortunate stuff too. Because honestly, this decision doesn't even come about if it isn't for. I feel like didn't they got their Secret Wars thing like shot down? Like they got it like. What
are you talking about?
Marvel was like, nah, huh?
What are you talking about?
The Russos. When they pitched Secret Wars, Marvel was like, no, we're good off that. And I truly do believe it's because they were going ahead with the Kang stuff. And I feel like they went back to the Russo brothers because of what happened with Jonathan Majors and the Kang stuff, which is so unfortunate. Like
either way, like
we were that close.
I just think
that close.
I think it all got messed up when they introduced him in Loki and then Ant-Man. But while, you know, there was some intriguing stuff about him, he wasn't clicking with audiences. Yeah. And so, like, they had to pivot. And this is where my issue is. This is where I run. This is the issue that they're running into for me. It's the fact that, you know, when you watched that Avengers Infinity War trailer for the first time, you were excited to see Thanos because of the buildup, right? So your excitement level was brought out because you waited for this. You know, you watched Avengers 2012 and was like, damn, Loki's that guy, until you found out, no, he's not.
Meanwhile, we didn't even know who the Avengers
Guardians.
Are. Right.
Yeah. And you watch these things and they're teasing Thanos. And so it builds a level of excitement. You want to see this guy that was behind it all, that started the Battle of New York, all of this. And the issue we're running into is they don't have a villain right now that naturally built that excitement. Yeah. So they had to manufacture it as quick as possible. And the way to do that is, let's be honest, to stunt cast, is to cast someone that makes people wild, even if they didn't fully think it through, even if they didn't. Could they still tell an interesting story with it? Yes, that's the main problem. The second problem I have, it's disappointing as someone who was waiting to see Doctor Doom in the MCU. As someone who saw the Roger Corman Doctor Doom, then the freaking, then the Tim, I forget his name, the Fantastic Four, the early 2000s Fantastic Four movies, that Doctor Doom, and then you got
even more peak,
Victor Dumashev or whatever from Forest Gump. Like, bro, all I wanted was a Doctor Doom with layers, with complexity, with that relationship with the Fantastic Four, with Reed and Sue, and the ego that builds between that group, and how he evolves over time from a contemporary of Reed to this all-powerful being, someone that steals the power of the Beyonder. Like, that's what I wanted to see, because if I'm being honest, to me, that's the only way we could level over Thanos. So far, right now, This just feels like it could be at best as good as Thanos. That to me is how it feels. And while, you know, if that does end up being the case, I'll be happy. But, you know, there is a little sliver of me that's a tad disappointed that was waiting for Doctor Doom to be introduced in the MCU. And then, especially when they announced Pedro, I was like, oh my goodness, there was rumors of Cillian Murphy. And I'm like, could you imagine these two on screen together?
Yeah, I remember that. That.
Then it just ends up being Robert Downey Jr. But then you have people making excuses like, but what if they don't show his face? And then I'm like, why do you get Robert Downey Jr. then? And so then it becomes an issue of, so if he is Victor Von Doom, why does he look like Tony Stark? Is he going to be an alternate universe of Tony Stark that goes by Victor Von Doom? And it creates this confusion where it's like, what are we doing? We could have genuinely just made an evil Tony Stark. And if anything, the commentary of the same person that saved the universe is coming to destroy it would have been a lot more like consistent. It would have been more clearer. And I think
I will say
they didn't think
tell
it
you
all
like
the way
after the
through.
news. I did tell my brother like after the news. I did tell him I was like, this decision to have RDJ return as Doctor Doom, it does cement the multiverse saga. Like it's a very like it's a thing that like I could see audiences being like that. Well, what? That doesn't make sense. Welcome to the multiverse. Yeah, like literally.
That's what it's been the whole time.
And it's like stamped now. It's like, yeah, you remember the most important character ever
now
in the MCU. Remember him? Remember that guy? The guy that was getting paid almost like $1 billion. Remember him? Yeah, he's not playing the same character. Matter of fact, he's playing an entirely different character. Like, and it's like that really cemented that for
and that's where I'm confused. It's like, so what, are we gonna get a Doctor Doom that doesn't even wear a mask? Like it's so many things where I'm like, I don't think they fully thought this through, and in quick moments they had to make a decision,
like a hype moment for Hall
H. And they got to go to the drawing board and figure out how to do this. How are they gonna actually do this? And it's disappointing because sure, you can have interesting things. You can have this Doctor Doom meet Peter Parker, and Peter Parker have to deal with seeing his own mentor's face. You can get some
really iconic character moments.
But that's about it.
Really iconic.
And I'm sorry, that does not intrigue me as much as a true Doctor Doom. And the build-up you could possibly like have. Could you imagine if Doctor Doom was introduced?
I mean, I
like
think
8 years down the line.
Yeah,
he becomes this all-powerful, and you see him and Reed since the first movie or something like that come back face to face. And
granted, that's like how Doom should be treated.
Yeah,
I can again, like I have an open mind, but like I can understand why it's not treated. Again, it's the multiverse saga, and they kind of had to pivot from Kang, so it's kind of this like multitude of decisions that kind of led to it. But at the same time, like I just have an open mind about it, especially after watching Rob's new video. Like a really open mind, because you can still there's things about Rob's new video where it's like you could still get the Doom stuff that you like. Granted, not in
talking a lot about this video, bro. They better just do this video. I guess.
Hey, I'm saying that's what I'm saying. Marvel, please just do his video, like please.
Yeah, because
and granted, I kind of think that's where I'm gonna be honest.
Comic accurate.
I gotta be very honest. I kind of think that's where they're going with it. But again, it just made me a lot more open-minded to it, because there's stuff in that story where the Doom and Victor Von Doom and Tony Stark switch minds. There's stuff in that story where it's like you're still getting that, oh, Reed Richards with Doom in college, except just Tony Stark in replacement for Reed. You're still getting those like Doom storylines. It's just not what you would want, because I understand Doom should be a character that's built up in layers across movies as like a formidable foe, but with like an insane amount of depth, and like so that when you do see him at like his ultimate level, and when the Avengers are fighting him and stuff like that, there's more to him than just like a good big bad. But again, like keeping an open mind, and especially after Rob's video, like I really do hope that they go that route, because again, the iconic character moments will be there, but there's also some stuff there in terms of like character that can really be interesting. But yeah, again, like in a dream scenario, yeah, like obviously everybody, we would want like a Doctor Doom from the ground up, like spanned across multiple movies. But let's just be honest, I don't think that was ever gonna happen. Not in this timeline.
So they
maybe like when the reboot sets in and stuff like that. But Yeah, I mean,
and that's the thing. Could you
like
imagine if could you imagine if we got the Fantastic Four in like 20? When did Endgame end? 2019. Imagine if we got the Fantastic Four in like 2022 or 2023, right? And like by 2027, you know, like we see Doom back. And he's like, the Fantastic Four have to actually go against him. While the last time we saw him with the Fantastic Four, he was a contemporary. And it's so much more interesting things that can happen. And I do think, you know, once again, you could tell an interesting story. I'm not saying you can't. It's just unfortunate. It just wouldn't be the story
that you wanted. Like,
it's just unfortunate. And I do think it might. This is a dangerous game they're playing, because I also feel like this might not even hit if you don't have the recollection or the idea of what Doctor Doom already is. I think that is integral.
Let's cut it. Let's just be real. The general audience isn't going to give a fuck. But the general audience is going to be there day one because they just see Robert Downey.
That's the issue. It's like, so much less about storytelling now, and like I don't.
But that's the thing. I don't know if that's the case because the Russos seem very into the idea. Robert Downey Jr. seems very into the idea. The Russos know how to tell like an interesting story. Robert Downey Jr. likes to chew on that kind of interesting stuff as an actor. Mm-hmm. Again, there can completely be stuff there that's like good in terms of like writing, setting up character and stuff. I just truly feel like it's not what the like hard fans of Doctor Doom, even if it was like a perfect scenario of like good story in like Fantastic Four with Doctor Doom like looming over it and stuff like that, and you still get good stuff in there. It's not what those Doctor Doom fans want. They want like a ground up Doctor Doom span across multiple movies, because that's how you should treat this kind of character.
I just think it's kind of equivalent to like never having Tom Holland's Spider-Man in the MCU, and then Tom Holland's Spider-Man shows up as an evil version Spider-Man. You can tell interesting things, but it just doesn't hit the same because you don't have recollection of the original Spider-Man. Now, if an evil Spider-Man came into the MCU now, that's infinitely more interesting because we have already an idea and the conceptual premise and story that our Spider-Man has went through. And it's just, they're playing a dangerous game, and I really hope this wasn't plan D and rather they actually thought this through. That's all I can hope for. I think you can do interesting things. Obviously, RDJ acting wise, he could crush it. I'm not worried about that.
I mean, if there's anybody that can make this plan like flip on its head and like make it like surprisingly work, it's RDJ and the Russos. I'm gonna be honest.
I'm just really curious what exactly made this necessary to tell. You know what I mean? What exactly were they going for? What's the ID here that made you feel like, you know, this is gonna be interesting? I just hope
it'd be different if this was a rumor, but to have this at all ages.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just praying they thought it through. But yeah, those are our thoughts on this. You guys tell us your thoughts on all this stuff about.
Let me know what you think about this Doctor Doom stuff. Let me know if you watched Rob's video as well. Let me know what you think about that. And, really interesting. I'm not gonna lie.
Even the title change, Avengers Doomsday, they really are stepping on DC. I mean, they changed the title. They're clearly wiping the Kang stuff away. I'd imagine.
Yeah, it sucks.
I'd imagine Avengers Doomsday.
So we were like literally.
I still don't think it would have connected though, because audiences weren't caring about Kang realistically. Like there were interesting performances.
Maybe like, Jonathan Majors was becoming like a big name, so like I feel like they still would have went into it. But man,
maybe not Doctor Doom, but I feel like at this point, Avengers Doomsday is gonna start with Doctor Doom literally wiping the entire Kang council. Like they gotta end it somehow.
That would also be a good way to like, you know, really showcase Doctor Doom's abilities and really showcase like
such a great
threat,
job.
By the way. The threat, by the way.
Wow, this is surface level stuff. But
no, I'm just saying. I'm not saying. I'm just saying in terms of what that would do for Doctor Doom. Having him wipe out all the Kangs would present him as like a very formidable threat. Like,
I'm really interested in how this all.
But Doctor Doom is more than that.
And like all these like anchor beings and like who knows? Maybe
they're gonna do anything with that
in
stuff.
Secret Wars
they didn't do nothing with the little incursions.
Maybe RDJ. No, those incursions are gonna matter in Secret Wars. Trust me. I will say like what if Robert Downey Jr. doesn't just play Doctor Doom in Secret Wars? What if he's also Tony Stark, like
Iron Man?
Very.
I can see that. I mean, like, honestly, that would not be.
No clue.
Honestly, you're probably closer to being right than wrong with that.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
you have that moment of like Tony Stark looking at himself, like as Doctor Doom and Iron Man. Again,
maybe
it's just
superior
those kinds of
Iron
moments
Man.
That would be insane. You know?
Yeah, I really wonder how this is gonna go, but once again,
though.
Those are our thoughts on this whole situation. But more importantly, please give us your thoughts. You know, if you made it this far, please hit that like button, subscribe, click the bell, all that jazz. Helps out the channel a lot. But more importantly, go ahead, jump in the comments below because we love discussing with you guys and let us know your thoughts.